Morning, folks. Deb Delapiana here, just spending a little time with you this morning. You know, the coffee just about gone. But I wanted to talk to you about this notion that we need to rush through this indictment of Donald Trump because as soon as we do that, we're going to be out of this whole mess we're in this country. Listen to me, folks. Nothing could be further from the truth. You know, the Republicans have done an incredible amount of damage to this nation beyond what Donald Trump has already done. Without Donald Trump even being in office, he, for all intents and purposes, not only stacked the Supreme Court, but stacked the federal courts before he left. He appointed over 200 judges who are largely young white males, okay? And some of these, a lot of these, most of these are lifetime appointments. So he has affected the judicial system for literally decades. That's number one. And that's not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem we have is that of the 221 legislators who were left in office on the GOP side, after Trump left, voted to overturn a legitimate election, which means we now have 147 seditionists serving the nation. It is going to be impossible for the Justice Department or anyone else to remove all of these people. The only people who can remove these people quickly and expeditiously are you and me, the people. November is coming up. Regardless of what happens with this investigation, and this investigation will go on, and I believe that Merrick Garland will do what is right at the end of the day. But I will tell you this. This is not just some schmo off the street. This is a higher level of, let's say, effort that must be made to make sure that this is done properly. There are ways for people like Donald Trump to worm his way out of shit. He has done it. He has been doing it all his life. The man is a criminal element. He's been a criminal for a long time. He has filed for bankruptcy 4 times, put people out of work. He literally was going down to make, Atlantic City great again. He fucking destroyed Atlantic City. He caused people to lose businesses. He has been doing this for a very long time. And these people have to make sure that every I is dotted and every fucking legal T is crossed before they do one thing. Now, people say to me, well, how come they're closer to indictment in Georgia? Because it's just fucking Georgia. The J6 insurrection is so much bigger than even Watergate was. It's not funny. This is a massive investigation. The people on the committee have interviewed literally hundreds of witnesses, and still they're after hundreds. They're still after witnesses who have fought this tooth and nail. They've refused to show up. They have gone to court to stall it. It all takes time. And they are not done because they have announced now that they will take August to look at a bunch of new information and they will be back on the air in September. You can add to this the lackadaisical attitude of the American people who seem to want to move on from this. I'm suggesting to you that that's the biggest mistake you could possibly make because all across this nation, in states that are GOP run, they are literally redistricting to keep people of color, gays and lesbians, transgender people, poor people from voting. And they're doing that because they know those people don't vote GOP. They know they're massively unpopular. And it's just a power grab. You know what? They're conducting a peaceful coup right under your noses. And the last thing we need is for the lackadaisical left to sit out the midterms. You know what? I don't care whether you're happy with Joe Biden or you're not. Returning power to the GOP will criminalize abortion across the nation. There will be no safe states. They will then turn around and pretend gays and lesbians and transgender people do not exist. They are already preparing a bill for nationwide transgender oppression. Okay? People need to understand here, they're doing this all without Donald Trump at the helm. And they're doing this because you left too big a majority in the Senate. A 50-50 split will get you nothing. In order to get anything past the Senate, they have to task somebody with finding 10 Republican votes. Because if they don't do that, the Republicans will invoke the filibuster and kill everything, as they've killed everything that Joe Biden has done. They've killed everything Joe Biden has tried to do, with very few exceptions. They didn't even bother to sign on for relief for COVID. I want to remind you of all of that. That's how much they give a shit about you. I'd also like to remind you that they can say that they care about children, but until they do something about getting automatic and semi-automatic weapons off the streets, they don't give a flying fuck about your kids. Your kids are fucking target practices in school everywhere. They only care about children in the womb. And by the way, I'm going to remind you of another thing. 195 Republicans in the House voted against contraception in 2022. In 2022, we are back again to where we were 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, where women had access to none of this. The stories of women who are now forced to sit and suffer in emergency rooms because they can't have abortions to relieve a medical issue is unbelievable. And everybody needs to pay attention to this, because if you think it doesn't affect you, it will eventually. They are not done. They are evil. They are hell-bent on creating not only an oppressive state for people who don't fit in, but a theocratic state for everyone in this country. You need to listen to what's being said, and you need to understand this. We are so far from being out of the woods, it isn't funny. I'll talk to you later.